setting. In 1982, the standard for personal alert safety system. In this case, what we have here is the Honeywell Titan. Honeywell Spherion Titan, self-contained breathing apparatus. It's an open circuit system, which means once you breathe in, everything exhales to the atmosphere. It does not get rebreathed. So describing the actual components of it, I'm going to describe the specs, the S from sums. I'm actually going to be describing it based on the flow of air. So the specs are going to be as follows. You're going to have the O2 cylinder by Luxfer. It's going to be 66 cubic feet. It's made in a 4-stage process by being aluminum hoop wrapped with carbon fiber, epoxy, and resin. The specs on this bottle are as follows. Like I said, 66 cubic feet. Everything here, every delineation has a purpose. So you have an illuminescent band that's approximately 2 inches. You have the date of hydrostatic testing every 5 years with the max life of 15 years with the Schrader valve that's connected afterwards. You have the hand cylinder, which is used to actually activate the bottle and release the compressed air within. And then you have the threads on the bottle, which is approximately, I think it's like 6 threads per inch. And then you'll have a hole drilled into the bottle, which prevents cross-threading for non-compliant SCBAs with the Luxfer bottle cylinder. If you actually look at the bottle itself, further specs on the bottle, and the reason why this one has so many specs is because it has a lot of shit on it, right? So you just talk about all the shit on it. So you say, okay. So this is my bottle. So my specs also include all the markings on it. So right here I have my TC, US, and DOT. Basically this is your Canadian and your DOT label. You have how much it's supposed to be set to, so it's a working pressure 4,500 PSI. I think they're based out of Illinois, so it has the Illinois transport number. Has the date of manufacture, was September 2008, and then your rapid elastic expansion 118, which is just a number that basically talks about how much the bottle can expand. Let me see, I think I'm missing, yes, okay. And then you have an actual marking on it, which says 45-minute bottle and air only, so it's not a full oxygen bottle. That's basically the entire bottle. If you look at the back of it, you're gonna see a little plate here. This is your safety burst disc. Activates at 7,500 PSI. The reason it's 7,500 PSI is the bottle's rated at 4,500, and it's based on the 5/3 safety factor, which activates at 7,500. A hexagon burst disc that has 6 equally spaced holes, so that it just shoots out, it just basically collapses. It doesn't shoot out and hit you directly, so you actually don't even notice when it goes on. You have a gauge which you can read, and then you have a bump disc. So the bottle can rest and actually receive impact without being damaged. So the specs on the actual breathing contained apparatus itself are as follows. You have a rough, a rough graded hand cylinder, which is good to grip, and it has a connection, which stainless steel hand wheel, which connects into the bottle. It then follows this high braided stainless steel hose, which is rated for 20,000 PSI. If you see the actual connection though, right next to the bottle, you have your EBSS, emergency breathing safety system, also known as the buddy breather.
UX.
This is your UX, excuse me. This is your universal air connection, or your RIC connection. The EBSS is down here and it's on your left side in the pouch. Your RIC. The biggest thing you need to know for your RIC for the specs is this has a steel pin inside.
Right.
This steel pin, you need to make sure it's here and not stuck in here, because then your UX is basically non-operable. So the whole purpose of the UX is for a hot fill. It's supposed to hot fill your bottle within 60 seconds to about 80% of the bottle. So you only reach this if you're really, really bad shape, which means you're pretty much out of air and you just need to fill something up and you need to get enough air to get you out. That's why I use the UX, or the RIC connection. Has a dust cover, so that's the biggest thing you want to have protected. Goes up this hose to the first stage regulator housing. So the bottle is at 4,500 PSI. Up until this point, you're basically at 115 PSI roughly. Then the air travels through here at the first stage regulator, where it registers to the warbler whistle, which is your low air alarm, which activates at approximately 1/3 of the bottle And that's going to be approximately, I think it's the range of 1485 to 1615 psi is the range the manufacturer gives. You still have a high pressure line because it has not hit your second stage regulator. The line then continues up to your left side to your electrical dual safety connection so it doesn't pop out to your actual second stage regulator. The second stage regulator drops this to slightly above atmospheric pressure. We're about 14.7, so it's just slightly above, so you could call it approximately 15 psi if you'd like. This has a couple components on it. It has the true air click connect, which actually connects to your mask to secure it. You have a heads-up display or HUD, which is a quick reference to how much air you have, and then also a battery indicator. On this, you have your I always forget the name of this. Help me out.
The bypass?
Bypass, thank you. Your bypass connection, which fully open can make your bottle, can drain your bottle at about 5 times the speed. So your bypass is for a couple things. If you need a quick burst of air because you're short on air, like you're huffing and puffing, you just need a little more burst of air to actually catch your breath, you can activate it slowly. But here you have your activator diaphragm, which should be activated on the first breath technology. If for any reason this doesn't work and your diaphragm is inoperable, which means you're sucking the mask to your face, you can use your bypass to bypass the regulator so it's not at 15 psi and have a breath like this. So you can continue breathing. Does it make sense? And then you have the quick disconnect, which is right here, which activates the diaphragm so that when you unclick the second stage regulator from your mask, it doesn't shoot out air. And the whole reason it's shooting out air, it's based on pressure, right? You create pressure by breathing in. It's kind of like a CPAP, and that's why it releases, you have that first blast of air. When you disconnect this from your mask, again, this is not at atmospheric pressure, so air is going to rush out because air is always going to go from high to low pressure. And then you have your receivers, your 2 second stage regulator receivers here and down here. And these are just meant for that, to receive the second stage regulator. You'll notice looks like a little light here on the second stage regulator. That's a photodiode. That activates the same time as your warbler whistle for your low air alarm. The whole purpose for this is to blink and alert people around you. Hey, you're low. Let's say you don't hear it for whatever reason and you don't notice your heads-up display. This is going to indicate the people around you. It's very bright and red, saying, hey, this guy's low. And also you have the lights that blink here. Once it goes below half, this is going to blink for approximately 20 seconds trying to catch your attention to make you aware you're at 50%. And then you're going to notice a color change from amber to red. Excuse me, amber to red. At a 3rd PSI, just recall that 45 minutes, 45 PSI, so basically 100 PSI is roughly going to get you through for normal usage. At a 3rd, you have about 15 minutes left, 1500 PSI, give or take, right? 1485 to 1615. That's the flow of air. On the right side, you have your electrical connection, which you'll see down here with a couple electrical connections as well. They're protected, they're bump fitted, and basically what this is going to be connected to is your remote pressure gauge or your secondary pass device. It's integrated. So you'll notice this kind of hose looks like the same high pressure hose from down here. It is the same pressure hose. And the whole reason why is that's why it can tell you that you have 4,500 PSI, because it's actually receiving that pressure in here. So we don't read our gauge from the bottle, we read it from our RPG or remote pressure gauge. It's gonna have the same type of deal where, and what I mean by that is it's gonna have the same reading as your bottle. It's gonna be within 10% accuracy of your bottle to your remote pressure gauge, but this is considered accurate per manufacturer. It'll do a couple things. It has a white bright LED light that's going to blink white, and it's also luminescent, same thing as that band. So let's say you have to activate it in a dark setting and you don't know how much air you have. You click the yellow button once. If it's on, this will actually light up and illuminate for about 5 seconds, so you can hold it to your face and see how much air you have. Next thing, it's an integrated pass device. So if this doesn't move or the pass device down here doesn't move, it is then going to start going off. So every 20 seconds of that movement, and then it's going to have full alert within 30 seconds of no movement. So all you do is you shake it, and that's going to activate the movement, so it won't activate the pass. And then you're going to have 2 LED lights that are blinking green and red that are going to alternate this guy with the lights down here in the pack every second. Every other second they're going to alternate. Green's good, and then it's going to start blinking red to grab your attention, and it's going to blink red rapidly when it's at a third PSI also. I mean a third of the total PSI of the bottle. It has a loud alarm here as well as down there, and it's going to be rated for 90 decibels at about 10-foot diameter. You're going to have two buttons. This is your off switch and also to reset your pass device, and then you're going to have your full alert button. So even if there's no air connected, if I hold it down, I could still have my full alert activated. And you notice here you have your green buttons because now I am actually active. I did turn on the device, so it's alternating every second. And then I have my device blinking because there's no air supply noted. Along with this thing, you'll also notice you'll have your green lights here, your amber lights, and then your emergency light here. So these are angled out to be seen easily and regardless any position, whether you're prone, you're supine, or you're walking. And this is going to be your secondary alert or kind of associated pass light, which is going to be, this is your man down light. So this light's meant to be bright in any kind of ideal age atmosphere so that you can see someone who's down. Cool. Okay, let me see here. What else do I got to talk about? These are Kevlar straps rated for 750 pounds each. This is a Kevlar strap rated for 1,000 pounds. This is made of high grade aircraft status aluminum, which is also weighted for, each key ring here is rated for 1,000 pounds. And these automobile safety style type of seats belts are rated for 500 pounds. You then have your 39-inch Y-block BBSS device or buddy breather that we've seen before, a male and female breathing connection. You can use any male to female connection or female to male. Previously we had to use a male to a female connection. That is no longer the case. We swapped them out so that you could use any connection. And it's meant to be easily deployed. You take it out and you have a 39-inch hose to deal with. This is considered a low pressure hose, I think rated for about 110 to 115 PSI roughly. Last thing in device, you'll notice that the air pack is meant for ergonomic movement. So it kind of flexes and goes with you like this. This angle is approximately, can go from 0 to approximately 70 to 75 degrees movement. So it allows you, it's supposed to be restricted for movement with the hips away as well. I don't know if I missed anything. Let me see.
I don't know.
Okay.
My God.
Oh, okay.
Sound like a brochure, man.
And these are utility rings. So these utility rings are exactly that, utility. So utility rope, utility rings, they're actually not rated because they're just meant to carry equipment and rope. Lastly, you have your pack down here. If you're going to notice, it's going to be 4, I believe, C-cell batteries. So this entire equipment is actually powered. This whole pack is powered by 4 C batteries, with the exception of 3 AAA batteries, which are going to be associated, which I believe, I forgot where the 3 C batteries, oh, I think in here. I think this is the one that has its own battery source.
I thought it was in your voice amplifier.
Yeah, it is. Shoot, there
You have no other batteries other than the encased from
Correct.
what I've read. You only have the 4
right.
Cs and that's it.
You're right. You have your 4 Cs. Yeah, it is. It's in your mask. There you go. Everything else, everything's powered by these batteries. It recommends Duracell batteries, and then a certain type of Energizer batteries are the 2 that it recommends. There's several ways you can open this. You can use a screwdriver, or the actual seatbelt is actually designed to open it too. Or you put it in here at an angle, lefty loosey, righty tighty to open it. I can't think of anything else at the moment. The last thing that's equipment that
I don't
you
think
needed
there's anything else.
is your mask, because your mask connects this whole device, and that's going to be your 2020 plus face mask made by Spirin as well. No, we have 2020 plus Spirin face mask, and the face mask is going to be made of about 1.5 inches that creates a seal of butyl rubber. And then it's going to have a polycarbonate lens, which is abrasion resistant outside, fog resistant on the inside. The netting is also made by Kevlar, and it has 4 rings or 4 D rings or kind of straps that tighten everything down. It's made of several components, and then you have your voice amp, which has 3 AAA batteries in it as well. And everything here, all this equipment is actually rated for 500 degrees for 5 minutes, approximately 10 seconds to flashover conditions. And yeah, I think that's about it.